Hello everyone. So today we're going over uh, section section 1.2 graphs. 1.2 graphs. So last time we started talking about the graphs. We gave some example how we can using the tables for graphs, some functions by using the plotting point. So we took like random points for the x coordinate, then we plug it inside the function, then we get the y value, then we write the order pair, the x comma y, and we represent all this point in the Cartesian plane. Then we like graph a smooth curve, connect this point, and then we get the graph for a function. The last thing we left is the intercept. So here, the intercept, we start talking about the x-intercept and the y-intercept. I give the definition for the x-intercept, and also I give the definition for the y-intercept. Also, I give how we can find the point for the x-intercept and also for the y-intercept. I'm going to give like a fast review for how we can find the y and the x and the y intercept. So here to find, first of all, is the x intercept. The x intercept. So the x intercept, to find the point for the x intercept here, to find the x coordinate, or to find the point for the x, the point by set y equals 0. Then we solve for x. This is how we can find the x-intercept. We set the y equals 0, then we solve for x. I'm going to give example for that. And for the y-intercept, is the same idea, is to set, to find the point here, to find the point for the y-intercept by set x equals 0, then we solve for y. Okay, example for this, the question is find the x and the y-intercept. So example, the question is find the x-intercept and the y-intercept for the function y equal x squared minus 2. So y equal x squared minus 2, here square. Who want to find the x-intercept for this one? Who want to do the x-intercept?
I'll do it.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Aziza.
So you set y to 0.
Set y equals 0, exactly. So here, the x-intercept by setting y equals 0. So when y equals 0, what we get, Aziza? 0 equal what?
0 equals x squared minus 2.
Exactly. So actually we plug instead of y 0. Then we solve for x. I mean, we solve for x, we have to find the value for x. Okay, what we have to do here, Aziza?
Add 2 to each side.
Exactly, add 2 to each side. So we're gonna cancel or cancel out the 2. What do we get here?
2
2 equal
equals
what?
x squared.
Exactly. Now it's a simple quadratic equation. What we should to do here, it's a simple. We give example for this one in the quadratic equation. Okay, Aziza, what we should to do here?
Find the square root.
Square root, exactly. Take the square root for both sides. So here, square root, square root. Then what we get? X equal what?
Plus or minus the square root of 2.
Exactly, plus or minus square root of 2. So we get two intercept, x-intercept. The first one is x equal the positive square root of 2. The second point is minus square root of 2. So again, here we have 2 x-intercept are x equal square root of 2 and x equal the minus square root of 2. Yes, we can go back. So we get, like we got 2 points of x-intercept. The first one is the positive square root of 2, and the second one is the minus square root of 2. Now, who will do the y-intercept, the second one? So we found the x-intercept. Who will do the y-intercept? Just use this formula to find the point for the y-intercept by set x equals 0, then we solve for y. Who will do the second one, the y-intercept? Michael said we plug the 0 in the x variable, then we get y equals 0 square minus 2, then we get y equal minus 2. This is correct, Michael. Thank you. So here, the second one, the y intercept by setting x equals 0. So we get y equal 0 square minus 2. We plug the 0 inside the function, inside the equation, I mean. So then we get here now y equal 0 squared is 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. So we have only one point as y-intercept is y equal. So here I get y equal minus 2. So we got only one point as y-intercept. But for the x-intercept, we got 2 points. The first one is x equals square root of 2, and the second one is x equal minus square root of 2. Now I'm going to explain what exactly the x and the y intercept. So if I have, for example, I'm going to graph this equation to show you exactly what is the mean of this point, the x equal the square root of 2, and the minus x equal minus square root of 2, and y equal minus 2. Layla said it will look like minus. Okay, so the graph, I'm going to graph the function, the equation. We don't talk about function, we talk about equation, sorry for that. Here we have x squared minus 2. The x-intercept for this one is x equal the square root of 2, the first point. So it's gonna be like around here. And the second point is x equal minus square root of 2. So it will be around like the same things here. And also we have y equal minus 2. Minus 2, this is mean the graph intersect the y-axis at this point, y equal minus 2. So it's gonna be like around here. So the graph of this function will be like, look like something like this here. So again, this point here, x equals square root of 2, gonna be like around here, whereas the graph intersect the x-axis. Whereas the graph, this is the graph of the equation, intersect the x-axis at x equal minus square root of 2, and at this point is the positive square root of 2. And this point also, it's the y-intercept, whereas the graph intersect the y-axis. So intersect at the y-axis at this point is y equal minus 2. Any question for this thing? Any question for this thing here? What's the mean of x-intercept and the y-intercept? Okay. What about the other student? Laila said no. What about the other student? Do you have any question? Okay. So it's clear what is the mean of x-intercept and the y-intercept now. Okay. So it's just for if the question in the exam or in the web assignment homework, if the question asks about the x-intercept, just you plug in the y, the 0. And if the question asks about the y-intercept, you plug instead of x equals 0, and then you solve the equation. So here this is the last thing here for this part of this section. Now we're going over the circle. Also, this section, the graph talk about some part of this section talk about circle. So here, circles. So we have to define what is the meaning of circle, or first of all, also I'm going to give you the formula for the circle. Suppose I have a circle look like this in the Cartesian plane. This is my Cartesian. So my circle look like this. I don't need this one. Like this. And I don't need it like in the, I need the circle like around here. Okay. Suppose this circle has a center is around here, this point, and also it has a radius like this. The center of this circle is C. C. This point is H, comma K. The order pair, I mean like H, comma K. I mean for this, the X coordinate, I mean like this here. If I have point, this point is H, and this point here is K. Okay, I'm going to remove this point. Here's my H. So the X coordinate, I mean like the X coordinate is H, and the Y coordinate is K. This is the center. Now the blue one is the radius. The blue line is the radius. The radius is from the center until this point. This point, I'm gonna call it P, is the X comma Y, this point. So who has like, who know what's the formula for the circle? Any idea what is the formula for the circle? Or he has like any idea from high school or from anywhere? I give you the center and I give you the radius. What is the formula for the center, for the circle? Anyone has the formula for the circle, or has any idea how about the circle? No, the question is what is the equation of the circle, not the area. What's the equation of the circle? What's the equation of the circle? Not not the area. Any idea about the equation of the circle? So the important things for the circle is the radius, r, and the center. This is the most two things important to find the equation of the circle. Anyone has the 2 pi? It's like for the area. Bilal said 2 pi or something like this. This is for the area for the circle. My question is, what's the equation? The equation for the circle is different about the area. Aziza said x minus h, everything square, plus y minus k, everything square, equal radius square. This is correct. This is correct. This is the equation of the circle. So in general, if I need the equation of the circle, I need two important things. The first thing is the center, h comma k, and the important second thing is the radius, is r. This is the two important things to find the equation for the circle. Now the equation of the circle of the circle is, The equation for the circle is x, any point x, minus the x coordinate of the center. The x coordinate of the center is h. So x minus h, everything square, plus y minus the y coordinate of the center is k, minus k, everything square, equal the radius square. The radius is the distance from the center to the point P, r square. This is the equation of the circle. This is the equation for any circle. So for finding the equation of the circle, actually I need two important things. The first thing is the center, and the second one is the radius. So suppose my center is the original point, 0, 0. What's the equation of the circle? What's my equation of the circle? Any idea? If the center is the original point, 0, 0 here, what is the equation of the circle?
Would it be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared?
Equal what? Equal r
Uh,
squared, right?
yeah.
Okay, correct. This is correct. So thank you. So the equation of if the center is 0, 0 and the radius is r, the equation of the circle is, so the center is 0, 0 and the radius is r. The equation of the circle is x is x minus 0, everything square, plus y minus 0, everything square, equals r square. Now, x minus 0 is, what is x minus 0 square? X square, exactly. Matthew said x square. This is x square. And the same thing here, y minus 0 is y square equal the radius square. So this is the equation of the circle when the radius, when the center is the origin point, 0, 0. X square plus y square equal the radius square. This is a special case of the circle equation. X square plus y square equal the radius square. So I'm going to graph also how is the circle will be in this case. So this is my x and this is my y coordinate. So the graph gonna be something, this is my circle. The center is 0, 0. Here's the center. Is C, comma, 0, comma, 0. And the radius for this one is here, or any point. Suppose like this. So this is the radius, r. So this is R. Here's R. And this point here called P of X, comma, Y. This point here. And here the same thing here, this point. Okay, any question for this slide here? Makes sense? Okay, so the important things we have to focus in this, in the circle is the center and the radius. This is the two important things to find the equation for any circle. Now, I'm going to give you an example. What does B stand for? B is a point. B is a point, whereas the radius end of. It's like end point for the radius. Natasha, the P here, it's like the end point of the radius. We use it inside this one, like x minus h, x minus the point, the x coordinate of the radius, and y, I mean for this point, y minus the y coordinate of the radius. Again here, x minus h and y minus k. Everything square equal the radius square. Example. So example. The question is graph each equation. Graph each equation. Okay, so the first one, number one, is x squared plus y squared equal 25. Who do this one? And before you do this one, please tell me what's the center and what's the radius for this one? How we can graph? So first of all, this is like a circle equation. Why? Because we have variable x squared and the y squared. Aziza said, and Matthew also said, the center is 0, 0. Is the center 0, 0 in this equation? Who said also the center is 0, 0? Who else? Natasha said yes, me. Bilal said yes. Who said the 0, 0 is the center for this equation? What about you, Amr? Anta? Aisha? Is the 0, 0 the center for this equation? Yes, this is correct. Why? Because if I want to rewrite this equation like in the general formula for the circle equation like this, I'm gonna write it like this: x minus 0 square plus y minus 0 square equal the radius here square. What's the number? If I square it, they give me 25. 5, exactly. So here I get 5 everything square. So actually I rewrite again the equation, this one, like the circle equation. The circle equation said x minus h square plus y minus k square equal the radius square. Here I get question, why is 0? Because x minus 0 square, they give me x square. X minus, like anything minus the 0, they give me the same one, the in front. Like x minus 0, they give me x. And when we square it, they give me x square. Same this one. That's why x minus 0 is the same as x. Now the center, by using this equation, the red one, and going back to the original formula for the circle, so the center here is 0, 0, and the radius is the 5, number 5. So to graph this equation, I have to graph the x and the y, the x and the y coordinate. So this is my y axis and this is my x axis. So the center is 0, 0 and the radius is 5. So at 0, 0 is my center here. This is my center. The radius, the center, the circle will be something like this. So this is my center, C, 0, 0. And this point here, the distance here is 5. This is here is 5. Also, this is 5. Also, this 5. Same thing here, 5. Any point is 5 from the center. This point is 5 too. So all of them like 5. So the radius here are equal r equal 5. Make it good. R equal 5. Here r equal 5. And the same things r equal the radius r equal 5. So the radius is 5 and the center is 0, 0, the origin point. Any question for this one? Makes sense how we can graph? Okay, second example for about this is number 2 here. Graph the equation x minus 2 square plus y minus plus 1, everything square equal 25. Who will do this one? What's the center and what's the radius? What's the center and what is the radius for number 2? Some students, they said the center is 2 and 1. Some of them said 2 and minus 1. The radius is 5. Okay. Who else has another solution for this one? Bilal change it to 2 and minus 1. Okay. I agree. Okay. This is correct. If first of all, when you see something like that, you have to rewrite the equation like something like the original equation, x minus something square plus y minus something square equal the radius. So here, if I want to rewrite this equation, I get x minus 2 square, so x minus something plus y minus 1 square equal the 25, the same radius in the previous example here, number 1, equal 5 square. So actually is equal x minus 2 plus square plus y minus 1. Why? Because minus minus, they give me positive. This positive here, positive 1. Everything square equal 5. Now, because the formula look like the original circle equation formula, this one, x minus h. So the center here is number 2 and the x coordinate and minus 1 in the y coordinate, and also the radius is the 5 only. Yes, Zainab said we changed the sign for k. This is correct. So k here is equal, like here, if I want to rewrite this one like something like this, get y minus 1. Now to graph this one, I have to graph the x and the y axis. Here's the x-axis and this is my y-axis. So the center is at 2 and minus 1. This is my center. So this is 1 here, 2 and minus 1, like around here. 1 and 2. And this point here is minus 1, minus, here not minus, it's positive 1, and here is 2. So this is my center for the circle. Now the radius is 5 again. So the graph will be like something like this. So this is the circle, the graph of the circle. Again, this is my radius. This is the radius here. The radius. Same radius for all points from the center. This is the radius, or this is the radius. All of them, the same things, r equal 5. So here is r equal 5. Here r equal 5. And the points, the center point, this one is 2, minus 1. Any question? Why is positive 2? Because if we go back to the original formula, x minus h square plus y minus k everything square equal the radius square. This is the original formula. See this one? And what is the center for this one? Is the positive h, we flip the sign, and positive k. Again, the equation of the circle has the center positive h, positive k is x minus h square plus y minus k, the second one minus in the equation. We change the sign inside the equation. So here minus h minus k. And the original center is positive h, positive k. Now go back to the example. I have x minus 2, everything square, plus y plus 1, everything square equal 25. So the center would be, we have to flip the sign here, where it's negative will be positive 2, and you have to flip the sign here, it's positive, should be negative 1. And the radius is looking for number. This number, if you square it, they give it 25, the number is 5. Or you can take the square root of 25, they give you 5 positive. Any other question? Okay, now after we learn how to graph the circle, if I give you any equation of circle, you know how to graph it. Now another question is how we can find the equation of the circle if I give you the radius and the center of the equation. So the question here now, example, find number 1, find the equation of the circle with radius is 3 and center is 2 and minus 5. This is the first part of this example. The second point, I will do it after we solve this one. Who will do this one? Who will find the equation of the circle? This circle has a radius is 3 and the center is 2 comma minus 5. What's the equation of the circle? Has radius 3 and the center is 2 and minus 5. So we're going to use the formula of the circle. Yes, Anta, go ahead.
I'm not sure, but I will try. So,
Okay.
I just the equation which is x minus h square
Okay.
y minus k square equals r square. So, I just substitute the center to the h and k. So it's gonna be h minus 2 square y minus is
So
plus, so y minus 5 square, and the radius is 3, so 3 square equals 9.
yeah, this is correct. This is nice. Thank you. So she said instead of h here, we have to plug the 2. And instead of this k, we plug the minus 5. And instead of r, we plug the 3. Yeah, this is correct, Bilal, too. Bilal said is a 3 square equal x minus 2. Oh, we don't have to plug the minus 2, Bilal. This is not correct here in the first part. Bilal said 3 square equal x minus 2, everything square, plus y minus 5 square. This is, you have to change on this the sign because the formula is x minus h square plus y minus k, everything square equal r square. So x minus h here is 2, plug the 2. square plus y minus the k, you plug the k, it's minus 5 here, square, equal the radius is 3 square. Now I get x minus 2 everything square plus y minus minus times minus is positive, so I get here y positive plus 5 square equal the 3 square is 9. So this is the equation of the circle. Here is x minus 2 everything square plus y plus 5 everything square equal 9. Any question for this example, the first part of the example? Makes sense? It's clear how we plug it? It's direct. You have to write the equation of the circle, then you plug all the center, the point of the order pair of the center inside the equation, and also the radius inside the equation. What's your question here, Crystal? Oh, no question. Okay, perfect. Now, second part of this example, number 2, the question is find the equation of the circle that has point, the first point is b comma 1 comma 8 and q is 5 comma minus 6 as the end points of the diameter. So I get the points, the end points of the diameter, but the question here does not give me the radius, and also they does not give me the center of the circle. How I can think for questions like this? How I can find the equation of the circle if the question give me 2 points? The first point is this one. If this is my first point, and also this is my second point, and they told me this point is the end point of the diameter. Okay, I'm going to help you for thinking for a question like this. Matthew said the distance between 2 points and the midpoint formula. This is perfect, correct. This is correct for a question like this. But I'm going to graph like easy and simple circle in the Cartesian plane. So suppose this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis, and my circle look like this. So I have a line, this line passing the center, this line called the diameter for the circle, like this. And because it's the diameter, so it must passing the center of this circle. The circle here is x comma y. This point here is the B point. Suppose it's my B 1 comma 8. And the second point here, suppose is my Q point 5 comma minus 6. Again, this is my circle. The circle has a diameter passing the center point. The center point is C x comma y. The point, the end points is P and Q. The question is find the equation of the circle. Now, how I can find my center? What is the point of the center? Matthew, go ahead. The midpoint formula. Midpoint, exactly. The midpoint formula, they give me the order pair of this point in the middle, such that is the center of my circle. So the mid is equal here, the midpoint formula. So the midpoint formula said x1, let me remind you for the formula, x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. Now, my x1 is 5 and my x2 is 1. My y1 is -6 and my y2 is 8. Here I get the question, you get a 3, 1 for the midpoint. This is correct. Let me plug all the point here. So x1 again is 5 plus 1 over 2. Second point is -6 plus 8 over 2. Five plus 1 is 6 over 2 is 3. And -6 plus 8 is 2 over 2 is 1. 3 and 1 is my midpoint. And also it's my center. So the center here is 3, 1. Again, how I find it? By using the midpoint formula. Now Zainab said, yeah, 1 plus 5 over 2 and 8 plus -6 over 2. This is correct. This is what we get here. This is correct. So this point is 3, 1 is my center point. Now, how we can find the radius? So I get the center. Now I need the radius. Like I said before, to find the formula for any equation, for any circle equation, I need two things, the center and the radius. Exactly is the distance formula. So the distance formula, I can find the radius. So the distance from which point and which point? Which point and which point would you like to use to find the radius? C and Q or C and B? This is correct. C to B or C. Here I get from Bushro, he said B and Q. B and Q, when they will not help me to find the radius. So actually, to find the radius, I have to use this point, the center between the center, the C and Q, or C and B. I'm going to use C and B, the distance between C and B. Then the radius is the distance from the C and B. So here I can write the radius is the distance D from the center and the point B. And the formula, like from last time, is difference between the x coordinate square plus the difference between the y coordinate square under the square root. So here I get the x square root of the difference between the x is 3 minus 5 square 3. This point 3 minus 1. I'm going to use the distance between C and Q. C and Q. Easier. C and Q is easier than B. C and Q is easier. Can you write the formula? Yes, we can write the formula. I'm going to write the formula here. The formula is x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. Now you plug inside the formula, I get this one. X1 is when you solve for the, here I get from Bamro, you get the square root of 53 when you solve the formula. This is, I'm going to check. So x1 is 1. X1 is 1. 3 minus x1 is 5. I mean, this is my x1, 5. So 5 minus 3 square plus 1 minus 5 minus 3 and minus 6 minus 1 square. 5 minus 3 square is 2 square plus minus 6 minus 1 is minus 7 square. Here square. Now 2 square is 4 plus minus 7 square is 49. Again, under the square. And this is equal the square root of 53. Square root of 53. This is correct. Who said 53? Yeah, this is correct. Yes, Anta, this is the distance formula. x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 squared. So I use this, the point C and the Q. The C, the x coordinate for the C is 5. 5 minus 3, everything square, plus minus 6 minus 1, everything square. It's here, it must be positive, but inside the parentheses must be negative. So Natasha said plus or minus, outside must be positive, inside must be negative. The same things, x2 minus x1, everything square, plus y2 minus y1, everything square, or like this formula. x1, the order does not matter here. Positive, you start from x2 minus x1 or x1 minus x2, the same things. Doesn't matter. x2 minus x1 or x1 minus x2. Now, I get the radius is the square root of 53, and also I get the center is 3 and 1. Now I can get the formula for the equation of the circle. What's the equation of the circle? Now go back to the question. So the radius is the square root of 53, and the center is from back is 3 and 1. Now the equation of the circle, what's the equation of the circle? Is x minus h square plus y minus k square equal the radius square. Now you plug inside this equation. Now h, this is my h. This is h. And the one is my k. Now plug the inside the equation, so I get x minus h is 3 square plus y minus k is minus 1 square equal the radius square, the square root of 53, everything square. Doesn't matter here, you start from x2 minus x1 square or x1 minus x2 square, doesn't matter. Why? Because the square here, they change the sign. If it's negative inside, it will be positive. If it's positive inside, we'll keep it positive. Doesn't matter which one I start, x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1. But you should, don't forget the square here. Square is very important. And the same thing here, y1 minus y2 or y2 minus y1. Doesn't matter which one you start first. The important things, after you do the calculation inside the parentheses, you have to square it. The square is very important. I was saying outside the radical. What is outside the radical here? We don't have negative outside the negative. This is equal outside the radical. Now this is 5 minus 3 square is 2 square, minus 6 minus 1 is minus 7 square. The square of the 2 is 4, and the square of minus 7 is positive 49. Now 49 plus 4 is 53. Now you plug inside the circle equation here, the circle equation, I will get x minus 3, everything square, plus y minus 1, everything square, equal the square root of the radical 53 is 53 positive. Makes sense? Any question? So this is how we can solve example number 2. We have to find the radical, we have to find the midpoint, the radius. The radius we found it by the midpoint, and I mean the radius we found it by the distance from the center and the Q. And for the center, we found it by the midpoint formula. Then we use the equation, circle equation. We plug everything inside the equation of the circle. Then we get the formula of equation of the formula of the circle equation. Okay, so now the last example of this section, the last thing in this section is find the equation of the example. The last example in this section, find the equation of the circle. Now the question is not find. We need to show here or proof. Show the equation represent a circle, represent a circle. So the equation this is my equation. So suppose I have x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 6y plus 7 equals 0. If I have equation like this, I need to show this equation represent a circle equation or represent a circle. So to do this, something like this, I prefer to combine the variable x together. Also, you combine the y variable together, and all numbers, you move it to the other side. Again, you combine the x variable together, x squared and 2x. You combine the y together, and all numbers move it to the other side. So I have x squared. Combine this one with this one. And we have the y. Combine this one with this one. And for all numbers, we move it to the other side. Okay, let's do it. So I have x squared plus 2x. We combine the x together, plus combine the y's together, y squared minus 6y. Now this is equal. We move the 7 to this side. How we can move this 7 to this side? How can I move this? Subtract 7 from both sides. Exactly. So subtract 7. Subtract 7. This will cancel out. I get here minus 7. Now the second step is we have to complete the square. How we can complete the square for this? What we have to add and subtract, or what we have to add in both sides. B over 2 square. B over 2 square is 1. This is correct. So actually we add for both sides b over 2 square. My b is 2 over 2. 2 over 2 is 1. 1 square is 1. And the same. So actually we have to add for both sides. Here we have to add 1. If we add 1 in this side, we have to add 1 in this side too, on the other side, after the equal sign. Now we have to also complete the square for the y. What's the complete square for this one? Plus, again, b over 2 square. What is it?
9.
Minus 6 over 2 is minus 3. Square is 9. This is correct. So plus 9 here, plus 9 here, both sides. Now my new equation is x squared plus 2x plus 1. This one. See this one? We add it here. Square without square plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 equal minus 7 plus this one plus 9. Okay, so now we're going to factor. What is the factor for this one? What's the factor for this one?
X plus 1, X plus 1.
X plus 1, X plus 1. This is correct. X plus 1 times X plus 1, or I can say X plus 1 square plus. What is the factor for this one?
Y minus 3, Y minus
Y
3.
minus 3 times 1 minus 3. Or I can say Y minus 3 square. Now, what's the simplifying for this side? Minus 7 plus 1 plus 9 is
3.
3. Actually, it's look like a circle equation. X plus 1 everything square plus Y minus 3 everything square equal 3. This, it's similar to the circle equation. What is the radius now?
The square root of 3.
Radius is the square root of 3. This is correct. What is the center? Minus 1, like Matthew said, and 3. This is also correct. So we show this equation is representing a circle. This is correct because the radius of this circle is the square root of 3 and the center is minus 1 and 3. So this equation, x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 6y plus 7 equals 0, represent a circle. Any question for for anything in this example? Make sense? Any other student has any problem except Matthew? So we do it step by step. We combine the variable x, we combine the variable y, we move the numbers to the other side. Placid, can you explain it again? Okay. So when you see something like this, x squared plus y squared plus 2x, like this, you should to combine the variable x together. And you combine the y variables together. And all numbers move it to the other side after the equal sign. When we combine the variable x together, we get x squared plus 2x. When we combine the y together, we get y squared minus 6y. And number 7, like I said before, we have to move it to the other side. To move it to the other side, I have to subtract the number 7 from both sides. When I subtract the 7, this will cancel out. So I get minus 7 the other side. Now the next step is to complete the square. So to complete the square of this, for this parentheses, I should to add b over 2 everything square. My b here is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. 1 square is 1. So I should to add 1 for this side, and then I have to add 1 for the other side. I mean, if I want to add in the other side, if I want to add 1, I have to add for both sides. For this side, for the equal, and for this side, after this equal. So b over 2 is 2 over 2 square is 1. So I have to add 1 in this side and 1 on the other side. Also, I have to complete the square for the y variable. I have to add b over 2 square. The b here is minus 6. Minus 6 over 2 is minus 3 square. Minus 3 square minus 3 square is 9. Again, minus 3 square is 9. And here 2 over 2 is 1. The 1 square is 1. So I should to add 9 for both sides. 9 for this side and 9 on this side. Now my new equation will be x squared plus 2x plus this one. Same thing is in the other parentheses. Y squared minus 6y plus 9 equal the minus 7 plus 1 plus 9. Now we have to factor the first parentheses. The factor of this one is x plus 1 times x plus 1. Or I can say here x plus 1 times x plus 1 is the same as x plus 1 everything squared. And for the other parentheses here, I get y minus 3 times y minus 3. So this is equal y minus 3 everything squared. Equal minus 7 plus 1 plus 9. I have to add these things and simplify it, I get 3. Now this is like equation of circle, equation of a circle. This is equation of circle. The radius is the square root of this number. And the center is the opposite sign of this one is -1. And the opposite opposite sign of this one is +3. That's it. So it is representing a circle. Any question? Make sense, Bilal? Okay. This is the last example in this section. Now let's go to the new section is lines 1.3. 1.3 lines. Okay. Okay, 1.3 is the lines. So first of all, we have to know what is this, the slope of the line. The slope of a line. So the slope of the line this is the first thing we should to know about the line is the slope of the line. So suppose a slope of a line that passes the point. The first point is A is x1 comma y1, and the second point is B is x comma y, x2 comma y. The slope is m. So suppose I have a line. This line is passing 2 points. The first point is A is x1 comma y1, and the second point is B is x2 comma y2. Okay, suppose I have a line. So the line look like this graph. I will graph it. I have a line like this. This line passing 2 points. The first point is A. This A is x1 comma y1. The second point is B. It's B. This point is x2 comma y2. Now the slope of this line is m, defined as m equal y2 minus y1 over x1 x2 minus x1. Any question for this formula? This is the slope of any line. Here I get a question. That's the midpoint. No, it's not the midpoint. It's the slope of the line. If I have line like the black one, you see the black one? This line passing 2 points. The first point is A, and the second point is B. And A is x1 comma y1, and the point B is x2 comma y2. The slope m is the difference between the y coordinates over the difference between the x coordinates. This is the slope formula. Yes. The midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y2 plus y1 plus y2 over 2. Thank you, Anta. This is the slope formula. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The midpoint formula is different, is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. And the midpoint is like a point, is order pair. The midpoint is a point, order pair, x comma y, like this. But the midpoint, the slope m is a number, is not order pair, is not an order pair. It's number, only number. The slope again, it's a number, and the midpoint, it's an order pair. Okay, this is the formula for the slope for any line. Okay, suppose my line is a vertical like this. Now I'm going to give you a cases. Suppose my Cartesian plane look like this here. This is my Cartesian plane. And I have a line like this, the red one. The question is, find the slope of this line. This line actually passing 2 points. This point and this point. This here, the variable here, it's x, value of x. This is x here. And this point here, actually, this is y1. Here it is this point here is y2. This point is defined as x, the same x, for both point x comma y1, and this point is, and this is my point is called A, and this is my B is the same thing, x comma y2. Now what's the slope? What's the slope for the red line? What's the slope? Abu Bakr, he said 0. M equal y2 minus y1. Let me check. Over x1, x2 over x1. Now for this point, the variable x, the difference between the y is y2 minus y1. And the difference of x is, what is the difference of x? Because we have the same x variable, same x value. What is the difference of x? What is x2? What's x2? What's the value for x here? x2. I said y2 minus y1. Now x2 is x, right? Minus x, because we have the same value. X minus x. Again, y2 minus y1, and x2, this x minus x. What is the value now? y2 minus y1 over x minus x. What's x minus x? What is the value here? X minus x. 0. y2 minus y1 over 0. Is this correct? Anything over 0? No. Undefined, exactly. So the slope of vertical line is undefined. So the M here, undefined. Why is undefined? Because we get y2 minus y1 equals 0. So I can here say the slope of vertical line is undefined. The slope of vertical line is undefined. Always the slope of vertical line is undefined, all the time. Any question for this? Now for the horizontal line, if the vertical line, they give me undefined, what's the horizontal line? What's the slope for the horizontal line? So I'm going to do the same step. So this is number 1 here, I can see. Now number 2, if my line is something like this, this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and my line is a horizontal line, like this. Here's the horizontal, like this. And this line passing 2 points. The first point is, can you go back? Yes. Here you go, Natasha. Finish. Okay. So again, this is my Cartesian plane. I have a horizontal line. Now the question is find the slope if this line passing the points. This is the first point, and this is my second point. The first point here, this is the variable for x. This is x1, and also this is my x2. And the y is the same y, the same value for y. So this is a x1 comma y, and this is b is x2 comma y. Okay. Now, what's the slope? What is the slope? Is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Who will plug inside this formula? What is y2? What's my y2? It is y. This is my second point. What is y2? It's a y. So here I get equal y minus y. Y minus y over what? x2 minus x1, exactly. So I get here x2 minus x1. What does that equal? Y minus y is 0, right? Over x2 minus x1. And what's this equal? 0. This is equal 0, correct? So now my slope m equals 0. So for any horizontal line, the slope will be equal 0. So the slope for any horizontal line we have also two cases after this. We're going to do it next time. So the horizontal line is 0. The horizontal line, always the slope is 0. Any question for this one? Any question for this one? No questions? Again, my email is gayousef99@gmail.com. Okay, we're going to stop up to here today. I will see you next Wednesday. Have a good day.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.